Good morning, Houston. This is your Monday Minute. This is Freddie G and
Billy B.
All right. So today, well, first of all, did you watch the Texans game?
Yeah.
I missed it, but I did catch the Astros game.
Well, we're doing good right now. I actually saw the Dynamo at the airport also, and they're coming off a win as well.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of confidence that's up right now
That's
in Houston.
right. That's right. We're doing good.
And that's our subject is knowing yourself and building confidence, right? So what is your takeaway on that?
Yeah, I've got a lot of questions around it. So I think that knowing yourself and building confidence, probably a lot of it comes with age and maybe maturity, experiences, and maybe some trial and error.
Yeah.
But so how do you get to know yourself? What's going to build that confidence? So my question to you, Freddie, would be for maybe a younger person that maybe is looking for more confidence or looking to expand their confidence and understand themselves better.
Right.
What advice could you give to them on this topic? Because if you ask an older person, a wise man or woman, they're going to be full of information. But if you ask somebody starting their career or maybe in college still or young professional, maybe they they're on the other side of that spectrum. So
I think confidence comes from accomplishments. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the only way you can achieve accomplishments is if you take on more responsibility. I always look, and I'm always envious. I look at young politicians. I'm 44, so there's a lot of politicians in my age group, but there's also quite a few politicians in the 30s as well. Mm-hmm. And if you look earlier in our country, a lot of our leaders were in their late 20s and early 30s, and they took on a lot of responsibility, and they were extremely confident. So I think the first thing to do is if you have the opportunity to take on more responsibility in your work area or at home, or if you're involved with an organization, go and take more responsibility and put yourself accountable to deliver something. Yeah. So I think that'd be one suggestion. What are your thoughts?
I really couldn't agree more. Last year I had the opportunity to chair the Rotary Lombardi Award with my friend James Tolbert. We were co-chairmen, and I kind of got recruited into that position. I really did. Well, any type of volunteer scenario, a lot of times you get voluntold, or you get kind of the positive pressure for maybe a mentor, and that was certainly mine. This past week I made the commitment to join Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I know that's going to be very rewarding, and Rotary Lombardi was absolutely very rewarding. It helped me on my leadership skills and many other things also. But at the beginning, my point is, when you're about to make those decisions, it's like, where do I find the time? Where do I find the energy? Where do I find the 7 to 9 o'clock in the evening that I'm going to dedicate to this? Sometimes there's you got to drive, there's financial commitments, everything else. So how the heck am I going to do this? My thought personally, after going through this a few times, is just do it and then figure it out, because that time will naturally you'll make time for that if you're committed. If you're not committed, then that's one thing. But if you dive in to take that responsibility and hold yourself accountable and then do it, I think that does build a high level of confidence. I'm more confident as a humanitarian, as a person, everything else, after the Rotary Lombardi Award last year, just from the person that made me become.
It was a televised event as well.
Yeah.
So, you had that extra stress. You said something about create the problem. I always believe you don't have a problem unless you have a problem. So create a problem, then you have the opportunity to solve that problem, and then you'll have that accomplishment.
So the problem would be, how do I find the time or the money or the energy?
How to find the time, how to find the money, how to find the energy. Exactly. Thank you for tying that in. Perfect for me. I was also thinking about, and sometimes it just takes time to build that confidence. I've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and one of the chapters says that by age 40, most men don't find themselves or find their confidence until at age 40. That's because, one, hormones. Two, is just we're still out there, still trying to discover ourselves. So if we don't have all the answers right now, I think that's perfectly okay. But are you in the pursuit of your answers? Or your pursuit of everything is what you should be asking yourself.
That chapter blew my mind, because he talks about your, trying to find your mate and your career path and yourself, all between, whatever age you are and age 40. And most of the millionaires are created after age 40. There's a lot of components around that, but I think one that he stated in the book was that it's the focus and the energy goes more into your career other than whatever else we're distracted by in our 20s and 30s. A lot of times blew me away that it was that age that was the case. But interesting point that he made. So I think that one thing with building you said building your confidence through accomplishments, through responsibility. So when you achieve something that you set out to do, that's the confidence booster that can help you.
It's your win, it's your victory.
Yeah.
So if you don't have any victories in your life, you're gonna feel like that. You're not qualified. You're lesser.
Yeah.
I don't want to say you're a loser.
No.
But we are so hard on ourselves compared to what everybody else can do because we wake up with that self-doubt and we go to bed with that self-doubt. And that can tear a person down.
So here's what I suggest is you've got to find a way to have a small win. We talked about winning the day last week.
Right.
So that could be a small win. Or, the small goals. I'm big on vision boards and checking off my goals and all that. And some are big, but some are purposely on there that are small so I can have that constant re-energize, of boom, checking it off the list. That's huge. So find a way to win something small and then gradually grow, your medium wins and your big lifelong achievements also. But those small wins can absolutely build your confidence. And I think you're exactly right. Accomplishments via responsibility, building confidence.
And I'll go ahead and add have a great solid foundation of core values. Because every choice we make is based upon a value that we have, that we own. And for me, what got me there was a crisis, and that was our 2 weeks ago conversation that I was unemployed. 2008, everybody was going through financial difficulties. I was going through marital difficulties as well, and I was writing out my resume, trying to get a job, and wasn't either getting enough interviews or was not getting hired. So, okay, well, let's look at it. It's my interviewing skills or it's my resume.
Yeah.
And so I took the first approach. I took both approaches, but first I addressed my resume and I wrote out a nice, great resume, and I was just, oh man, Freddie, you're really awesome. You're the guy.
Did that give you confidence to go have a better interview?
Well, then I started really looking. I was like, Freddie, you're half that man.
Okay.
In real estate we call that puffing, right? and I puffed my resume up, and I was like, okay, so maybe that's not my real me. And this is where I'm leading to identify your true core values.
Right. And
then I wrote out another sheet of paper, and I just testified to myself. Because if you don't know where you're weak at, how are you going to build it up? If someone's always saying, if your mom's always coddling you and saying, "Oh, you're such a good singer, Billy," and it's not true, then you'll never improve.
Right.
And so I wrote another sheet of paper, and I just testified on all of my weaknesses, everything I've done wrong, everything I've seen, heard, wrote, did, just everything. I'm like, okay, this is your real truth. And I didn't like it, and so I crumpled it up and I threw it away, and so I wrote out a third sheet of paper of how do I want people to see me. And so this is a great thing that you can do right now today, is that if you're trying to build confidence and you're trying to know yourself, just take out a sheet of paper and just write out, how do you want people to see you? How do you want to be thought of? What are they going to say at your eulogy? When you pass, are you going to be remembered? And if you can think those kind of big thoughts and those deep thoughts, and I found myself, I was, again, going back deep rooted into my faith, and everything, every decision, every choice I was going to make was based upon the principles that I've learned at that time around my faith. And if I could do that, then I knew I can answer each question that was asked of me in an interview confidently, and with authority. And so that's just one of the things that I did to build up my confidence and got a chance to really know myself.
Yeah.
I saw my lie, I saw my ugly self, and then I saw myself how I wanted to be. I don't have a third hand. I'd raise it if I did.
So then how did that help get you on the course that you wanted to be to become the person that you are now?
Sure. That let me run into the fire. Fire will temper and harden steel elements. And when I say fire, anytime there's a crisis or a problem or a challenge, just run to it. I mean, if you run away from it, it's always going to beat you. But if you run to it, You know, just like David and Goliath. I think David was a teenage kid, you know, whenever he beat Goliath. So if you just run to that biggest problem and take it head on, you'll be amazing how much energy you can pack in yourself and just really tackle that big problem and really knock it down. And once you get a big victory like that, I mean, you're confident. So confidence and ego, two separate things.
But they go together.
But they do go together. You know, you can be confident and compassionate and caring and nurturing and a protector, or you could be ego and be arrogant, be haughty. You know, and that's not what you want to do. You want to be confident with knowledge and definitely read a lot. You know, find if you don't know the answer, go find someone who's written a book about it. I promise you that.
Right. You use the negative connotation towards ego, and most people do, but also the positive connotation towards that. So that the confidence building your ego, so your self-worth and what you feel about yourself. You mentioned the books, which I'm a big proponent on, and you also mentioned the small goals and the big goals. I believe it's the book called The Compound Effect, and they talk about every day work towards your 5 monthly goals, and every day make progress on your 5 lifetime goals. So first we've got to define those. What's the small goal that's going to happen soon? What's the big goal that needs to happen long term? And if we make a little bit of progress on each of those each day, we'll essentially win the day, probably hit our goals, become more confident through accomplishments, and then build the confidence through knowing yourself, which is our topic of the day.
Absolutely. So if you feel like these little tips here has helped you, or if you got some suggestions, comment them down below. If you need insurance, call this guy here. If you want to be a guest on our Facebook Live, you know, or if you have a future topic, we've got the next, I think, 10 weeks planned out. But we're definitely open to new ideas. That pretty much wraps us up. We started at 8:34. It's 8:45.
You can send us a private message if you don't want to comment in the comments. I know some of you have done that, so we'll look forward to more of that. As we go forward, we are going to keep evolving as we go, so that the guests and certainly the ideas from you guys, and me and Freddie might do a plug here and there for our businesses as well. So y'all make it a great week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Monday.
Have a great day, Houston.